think what makes the December game so interesting is that it's so enthusiastic and so meaningful is that it's like a playoff atmosphere.
That's why we have mini camp, training camp, and off-season programs. They're playing games like this in December, at home.
I mean, it's coming down to a situation, if you want your season to continue, you must play well in these games.
To be in a position where you really control your own destiny and you just have to win football games is a great position to be in.
Walking on the field is like a lion walking through the jungle. That's how I feel when I walk on the field. I just feel like, this is my domain. This is where I belong.
After you play 9 or 10 years, I'm on my 13th, you say to yourself, this could be the last play, so let's make it the best one.
They got a lot to lose. We got a lot to lose. I think you see the courage come out of players in December.
Wisniewski, Brown, Allen, Beekert, we all want guys like that to have an opportunity to get into the playoffs and play their best football and give our team a chance to do what we want to do.
And the only way you put a team like this away, man, is you got to score every time you have the ball.
It's going to be a war. That's all I expect is a war. I expect a dogfight from the first snap to the last snap.
Not much time to go in the NFL. Here is the AFC playoff picture as it stands before we kick off here tonight in Oakland. Tennessee, Oakland, and Miami, the division leaders. The other three teams that would make it right now: Baltimore, Denver, and the New York Jets. On the outside looking in, Indianapolis and Buffalo, they play tomorrow night. The Pittsburgh Steelers still with an outside, at least a mathematical chance, at 7-7. We'll be back to Oakland with the opening kickoff after this. Year as the head coach of the New York Jets, former assistant for this ball club. He is 9-4 in his initial season. And John Gruden, who has turned this franchise around now 26-19 in his third season. He started with back-to-back 8 years. And the players, especially Tim Brown, said a very revealing thing. He said he needed to come in and prove that he was the head coach of this team and not just another spokesman for Al Davis. He has done it.
You could see in that opening shot, he already has a scowl. He's ready to go.
Sebastian Janikowski, the first-round draft choice out of Florida State, to kick the Leon Johnson, just back after nearly 2 years away with a knee injury. Instead taken by Stone. Dwight Stone cut down at the 15. Here's the Jets offense.
Hi, I'm Vinny Testaverde. Joining me in offense tonight, we have a workhorse, running back Curtis Martin. At fullback, Mr. Versatility, Richie Anderson. The receivers, the Green Lantern, Wayne Corbett and Dedrick Hot Tub Ward. The tight end is the ground squirrel, Anthony Beck. On the offensive line, we have tackles Jason Fabini and Ryan Young. The guards, Terry getting jiggy with it Jenkins and Randy the Train Thomas. The center, Kevin Mawai, the Pro Bowler.
Vinny, thanks very much. You wouldn't expect Vinny to say jiggy getting with it, you know? Play action by Testaverde. Richie Anderson in the flat at the 25. Here's the Raider defense.
Hi, I'm Darryl Russell, and that ends tonight. We have Tony Bryant in his candy store. We have Reagan Upshaw, the Spitting Bandit. Next to me is Grady Jackson, representing Krispy Kremes. Elijah Alexander, the Brown Hornet. Mr. PlayStation himself, Willie Thomas, and the captain, Greg Beekert, at linebackers. We have Charles Woodson, Mr. Superstar. Eric Allen, who's Mr. Yoda. And as far as our safety is concerned, we have Marquez Pope, Positive Warrior, and Anthony Dorsett, the model thug.
Thank you, Darryl. Here's the toss. Curtis Martin trying to get that initial first down. Crosses the 30, and he's got it. Curtis Martin is one of those guys, if you sat down with a football fan and said, name the 3 or 4 best backs in the NFL, Curtis Martin's name would probably not come up. But if you talk to people who are inside football, it comes up a lot, doesn't it?
Well, it's amazing when you watch what this guy can really do. Not only is he a great runner and a pass catcher, even from the inside or outside, but when you watch this guy block, he's sensational.
One of only 3 backs to start his career with 6 straight 1,000-yard seasons. They had Martin flanked out, then they bring him back and toss it to him. And Curtis Martin up to the 39. Nice block by Randy Thomas, his right guard.
That's one of the problems that the Raiders were concerned with, and really that formation creates a problem. You'll see Curtis Martin split out real wide. Then he comes back into the formation. Now, what they do is they've got 3 receivers to the right, and what that does is that just stretches that Raider defense out and gives him running lanes.
Good start for the Jets. Jake Moreland, number 37, has checked into the New York lineup. Martin slugging his way out just across the 30-yard line. Vinny Testaverde coming back off that Achilles injury that cost him the 1999 season, and those are not great numbers for him, but they have picked up steadily as the season has gone along. And Joe, you mentioned a quarterback coming back from an injury. He's got to find that groove again.
Plus, Dan Henning has done a lot of things different with this offense, and they're just starting to get comfortable. Vinny comfortable with the receivers comfortable with him again.
3 wideouts with Ward in motion. Draw play. Martin swallowed up. Nice play by William Thomas, the veteran linebacker who came over from the Eagles.
You know, I'm really surprised at that play. It was a draw play, but the thing that surprised me about it, they got yardage on the outside, Joe, and they were running wide because they were getting the linebackers committed to the inside. Why go up in the middle where all the beef is?
Well, you're right, Paul. You got 325 in Russell, 325 in Grady. That's a lot of meat to move.
Tom Tupa is on to kick, and there is David Dunn, who waits at his 14-yard line. Tupa launches one. Dunn lets it go, and he kicks into the end zone. 59-yard punt, but a net of only 39. Raiders will start from their 20 when we come back. Gannon to throw on first down. Chased. Throws late and incomplete. Here's the Raider offense.
Hi, I'm Barrett Robbins. Starting tonight at quarterback, Rich Gannon. At running backs, Tyrone, my favorite Wheatley, and John Ritchie. At wide receivers, touchdown Tim Brown and James Jett. Tight end, Slick Rick Dudley. And joining me on the offensive line is big-time Barry Sims, Lincoln Kennedy, Mo Collins, and Steve Wisniewski.
Barrett, thank you. 6-year starter out of TCU. Good protection for Gannon. Throws an incomplete. Right through the hands of Ricky Dudley. That was a bullet.
Well, you got to catch this ball. I mean, Ricky Dudley, you are open. This ball's going to hit you almost in the mouth. Here comes Ricky Dudley releasing. Look at this. They relieve him to Cox, and bang, the ball hits right off his hands.
I gotta believe, though, Paul, he's throwing out of a dark spot in this stadium. The end zones are not lit very well, and when you've got a quarterback with a black jersey standing in a shadow, it's going to be hard to see the ball.
3rd and 10 for the Raiders on their initial possession. Jets show blitz. Come with 5. Gannon down the middle again. This one is incomplete, intended for Andre Rison. Here's the Jets defense.
Hi, I'm Mo Lewis, and tonight at right end is Rick the Hammer Lau, Shane Burton. At nose is Ernie Logan. And joining me at linebacker, Brian the Intimidator Cox, Marvin Jones, Ronald Pfeiffer. And at cornerback is Aaron the Blanket Glenn, Marcus Coleman. At safety is Victor Green and Chris Hayes.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate it. Leon Johnson fumbles the ball. Got it back. Johnson, with his first punt return in 2 years, nearly coughed it up. 51-yard kick. They get 3 on the return and get a break as well. Jim Otto, the legendary center for the Oakland Raiders. Behind him, Al Davis, who has got to be just thrilled to see this franchise back in the playoff hunt.
We were talking to Jim Otto the other day. This guy's got 2 new shoulders, 2 knees, and he's got a rod up his back. I mean, it's unbelievable what this guy's put together with.
Jets with their second possession start from their own 32. Curtis Martin Cut down by Beaker. We talked about Curtis Martin not getting all the accolades maybe he deserves. People don't think of him as a workhorse either. But in NFL history, he leads the NFL with the most carries a game. 22 carries a game. That's unbelievable.
And when he doesn't touch the ball that much, this offense suffers. Whether it's catching it or even carrying it like that, he's got to get it close to 30 times total.
210 pounds. He's proven time and time again he can take a beating and can play with pain. Testaverde to throw. Richie Anderson bobbled it and couldn't hold it.
Now, this really has to be confusion in the defensive secondary. These guys, Charles Woodson, he's talking to the linebackers, but Anderson, you cannot be coming this free with this many people on defense on this side of the field. Watch Richie Anderson here. There's really nobody around him. He has 2 tries to actually catch the ball.
Well, we talked about the formations that the Jets use. It creates problems between the corners and the safeties as far as who's going to take the inside cuts, especially when you put a fullback out there.
Anderson, the leading receiver for the Jets, 64 catches. Vinny incomplete. That one intended for Corbett, just off his fingertips. The Jets have been close several times, but can't connect.
Well, there's no question, Joe, they are getting people open.
The opportunities are there, and they're going to wind up catching them. The Raider defense is going to have to sit down, take a look at some pictures, and make the adjustments against Al Groh's offense.
Tupa to kick it away again. And Dunn will return for the Oakland Raiders. Low liner this time. Dunn with a head of steam. To the 48-yard line. A 16-yard return, the kick of only 38. Leon Johnson had to make the tackle. The Jets blow an opportunity as the usually sure-handed Richie Anderson dropped that one. John Gruden very aware of the fact that tonight's winner is in the playoffs. The loser will have to wait another week. Great field position for the Raiders. Their own 48. Tyrone Wheatley. Broken initial tackle and picked up a yard. Richie Gannon having a good enough year this year that he is talked about as an MVP candidate. He's almost certain to go over 3,000 yards tonight. He has had 2 outstanding years here.
He really has. And last year he was just starting to get comfortable in the offense. Now he feels like he's totally in charge. And really, it's the only 2 years that he's had a football team to call his own.
Play action by Gannon. Cox coming on the blitz, can't get there. The pass for Dudley too high.
Pass incomplete, intended for Ricky.
I'll tell you, it was a heads-up play by Wheatley because they had Cox blitzing on that play, and Wheatley, they took the fake and then made the block.
It's like a heavyweight. This is like a heavyweight fight. You just sense it. You know, you saw the Jets. They got a punch in, but now all of a sudden it's settled in. They're taking this time in this quarter to figure out what each team is trying to do before they really, I think, try to exploit them.
Gannon has started very slowly. He's missed his first 4 passes. Now faces a 3rd and 9. Blitz coming. Out of bounds, intended for James Jett. Just faded on it. So the Raiders squandered great field position.
We talked to both coaches about, will you be conservative in a game like this at the beginning? And they both assured us that they were not going to be conservative, and I don't think they have been.
Shane Leckler, who has had a brilliant rookie year, 2nd in the NFL in punting average. He'll kick to Leon Johnson, who muffed his first opportunity. Flags are down. Johnson with a fair catch at the 19. Now we'll check the markers. A kick of only 32 yards. Ed Hockley, our official tonight.
But too many people on the field, I think.
Flags went down early and all over the field. The Jets, the least penalized team in the NFL.
They did a better job than anybody keeping their quarterback alive also.
That's right.
Substitution, receiving team, 12 men on the field, 5-yard penalty. Repeat 4th down.
Cowboys had a huge win today. Leckler to do it all over again. Bombs this one, but it's headed for the end zone and well into it and then out of it. 46-yard kick, but only a net of 26 for the rookie punter. Timeout in Oakland. 0-0. The Jets and the Raiders. Scoreless first quarter. It's December, and of course, NFL players want to be playing in meaningful games. When the Jets had their first December game a week ago, Curtis Martin and Vinny Testaverde addressed their teammates and told them about the importance of this month, what they had to do. They responded with one of their best games in a win over Indy. Testaverde with time and throws complete. And he got Curtis Martin out as a flanker.
Pass complete to Curtis Martin.
William Thomas on the coverage.
Down by William Thomas.
From 86 to 97, the Jets were woeful in December and January. But with Testaverde and Martin as veteran leaders, they are 9-1 in December.
And especially when you look at the youth that's on this Jet team, it's important that guys like them stand up and let the guys know what's at stake.
Testaverde with a short drop intended for Corbett. Covered beautifully by Allen. Outside, incomplete. The receiver goes long. Vinny throws out pattern.
Tell you one thing we're finding out that they're putting Charles Woodson, and he is covering Wayne Corbett all over the field. But look at this. Here, you're looking at Vinny. We saw a lot in this Chicago game. Watch this. Here's Curtis Martin. He's just running the wrong route. He's got the matchup that he wants on the linebacker, William Thomas. And look at this. Vinny throws it short. Curtis goes long.
Although Thomas may be the best cover linebacker that ever played, Tuchel will kick it away again. It's been a battle of field position so far. Dunn driven back to his 18. There's a marker down. Trying to get to the outside and can't. Excellent coverage. Frost was down there, the first guy on special teams for the Jets, and now we'll check the marker.
From the 18-yard line, tackled by Gerald Soule.
Got a legal man downfield.
Yep.
What a great kick. I mean, that was a rocket shot, and there's the ball on the 24-yard line, and now they're going to make him kick it again.
And you know, as a kicker, nothing frosts you more than to get off a 56-yarder, and now they tell you to do it again. Nothing frosts Mike Sweatman that much either.
Forward progress was stopped before the ball came loose. Ineligible man downfield by the kicking team, number 33. 5-yard penalty. Repeat 4th down.
The Jets have done a marvelous job this year with penalties, 61. That is the fewest in the NFL. The Raiders, who used to lead the NFL every single year, they're doing better. They're fifth most.
They've moved up the ladder. That's not too bad. You know, under John Gruden, this football team's changed in a lot of different areas. You get games with teams that are this evenly matched. Special teams usually winds up being a big key. If it's just field position or a big return, it makes a difference.
And the Raiders have had the best of the field position so far. They haven't been able to take advantage of it. Tupa, another low line drive that's short, done on the hop at the 39. Flags are down, so is done at the 41. 40-yard kick that time with a bounce and a 2-yard return. Bradford Banta, the snapper, was down to make the stop.
Now there's a penalty against the Raiders.
So good field position will go away again.
Bob Casulo, the special teams coach, trying to explain exactly what he should do to Bobby Brooks. Don't push him in the back. I told you that.
Illegal block in the back. Receiving team number 33 during the return. 10-yard penalty. Oakland keeps the ball. First down.
Anthony Dorsett called for the penalty. A block in the back. And Bob Casillo doesn't like it at all. It's the single setback, and he gets the football. And Kaufman, the game breaker, across the 40. 50 and out of bounds.
Oh, what a great hole up the middle, but about 15 yards downfield. Tim Brown gets an outstanding block that enables Kaufman to get more yardage.
Yeah, but Steve Wisniewski, the old veteran, gets Brian Cox, the veteran. Watch number 76 on 51. He starts on the center, helps out on Logan, then he slides out and gives Kaufman an opportunity. And there's the block by Tim Brown. Look at that. Look at the block. There's the ump cam. Now let's see if we can follow him. All right, pick him up. There he goes.
Wisniewski, the 8-time Pro Bowler, and that's what they expect from him. Whately back in. Drilled as we got to the Jets 49, the original line of scrimmage.
Well, up until that point of Kaufman's run, the Raiders had 1 yard. 1 yard.
It's been tough. Gannon with plenty of time. Throws underneath. The catch made by veteran Andre Rison. Ray Mickens made the tackle.
The acquisition of Andre Rison really put a lot of fire back into this offense. Rich Gannon, by making guys be accountable. Andre Rison, with his playmaking ability, has been a guy that's been a big spark for this offense. Of course, Tim Brown provides the consistency, but he's the guy that they look to get downfield and make the big plays.
And Tim Brown told us that Andre Rison and Ricky Dudley really are going to have to step up their game tonight.
Richie and Jordan have checked in as the split backs. Gannon to throw, blitz coming. There's going to be a hold on this play, and then Scott Frost gets the sack back at midfield. The former Nebraska quarterback, now a Jet safety, and there's a hold on the play as well, as Mo Lewis was coming in on a blitz, and he was held big time.
Holding. Offense, number 65. The penalty is declined. Brings up fourth down.
Barry Sims, the left tackle, called for the hold.
Well, they talked about tonight what is going to have to happen in this game. They're going to have to come up with big plays. We haven't seen any plays.
Except defensively.
That's right.
They count.
Yeah, they
big
do.
Plays on defense.
Yeah, they do.
Leckler to kick it away. Another boomer. And got the bounce. And the Raiders down it inside the 5. Johnny Harris heads up play on special teams.
Receivers are getting open, Joe. This is still passing area.
Flags it down. They'll whistle the play dead. Vinny getting a little roughed up by Lance Johnstone, and then gets some help.
Okay, that's a good job by Ed Hockley. There is so much noise here. The players can't quite hear the whistles. There you saw a referee jump in the middle to protect the quarterback. That's a nice job.
Number 88. Half the distance to the goal. It's still first down.
The tight end, Anthony Beck, called for the false start. The Jets are really losing the field position battle. They have started on average from their own 19.
But the Raiders have not been able to capitalize on it. That's the big key.
First and 12 on the field.
It's deafening in here. Martin just avoids the safety and got out to the 3. William Thomas with the stop. They almost had him in the end zone.
Boy, you know, they did. And this guy, you know, what did the coach say about him? He wills things to happen. Well, he willed himself and ran himself out of the end zone. Look at Curtis Martin in the backfield. He is hit, but he gets himself back out. And what he wants? Positive yards.
Get it 1 yard on the
Windrell Hayes is on Charles Woodson. He just locked up with him. Hey, it's as good as a block if he takes you down. Oh.
The sellout crowd is going nuts. And look how close the Jets are to those fans just behind the end zone. Incomplete. Vinny threw high and wide. Excellent coverage by Allen. He was right with Wendell Hayes, the rookie out of USC.
And I can understand why they had a false start down in that end zone.
Yes,
it is so noisy down there that they didn't even hear the whistle on that first play when the flag was thrown. I don't know how the linemen can hear each other. It's all got to be done by signals.
This stadium configuration is a baseball stadium like RFK was in Washington. You get into the end zones, these fans, you can see how low they are to the field. They're like 12 yards from what Vinny's trying to communicate.
3rd and 11. Testaverde underneath. Richie Anderson got it out to the 10. At least they had some breathing room. Check it, Curtis Martin, not Anderson.
But the Raiders do something very interesting on long yardage situations. It's called a stick defense. What they do with it, it's called a stick defense. And what they do is they put all their defensive backs, 5 of them, they line them up at the sticks that they have to go to for the first down. We'll come back to it and show you a little bit later. But it's
a heck of an idea.
It's a heck of an idea. You're right, Mike.
David Dunn, this time waits at his 43. The Raiders inching toward the goal, but have no points as yet. And now we have another delay.
There is no timeout. A trainer came on the field for an injured player. That's an official's timeout. 4th down.
Tony Bryant, the Raiders' defensive end, was the guy who was shaken up.
Boy, Ed's explaining everything tonight. I like that. I like to know what's going on.
Would like to be informed.
Yeah, I like to know what's going on.
Tupou will have to kick out of his own end zone. Raiders put on the rush, and Tupou with another low line drive. Dunn trying to chase it down, finally does it to 45 and knocked out of bounds right there. So Tupou gets away with another one with the bounce, 46 yards.
Mike, I want to show you what the Raiders did on that long 3rd down. Here's the line. Look at this. What they are is they're at the sticks right there. That gives you an idea of where they are. Now, that's where the first down markers. They want to keep everything in front of them. You see one goes back in the middle, and then they come up and make the play. That's what they do. It's a heck of an idea in long yardage situation. So you can go stick defense, or you can go blitz people to make the quarterback get rid of the ball. Got some options.
As long as it works.
Yeah, so far it looks good.
I think that's the courageous thing. They're willing to do it. Willing to do it, knowing they'll really get ripped if it doesn't work. Gannon steps up in the pocket and throws a line drive incomplete. Intended for Rison, but he was covered well by Roman Pfeiffer, the linebacker.
All you got is 2 guys in a pattern. I mean, you got Tim Brown and Rison in the pattern, and nobody else is going out.
Rich Gannon so far 1 for 7 for 8 yards. I personally think that they've got to try and move him out of the pocket, or he has to improvise by himself to create some opportunities against the Jets secondary. If they keep him in the pocket all night, it'll be exactly what the Jets are looking for.
3 wide receivers for Gannon. And Dudley drilled by Marvin Jones as soon as he caught it, a gain of about 5 or 6.
The heart and soul of the Jets defense are their 4 linebackers. Cox, Lewis, Jones, and Pfeiffer, or Ferrier, whoever's in there. And even Gruden, the head coach of the Raiders, told us, he said, these guys are tough. They make everything happen.
How about this, big fella? 594 career games played between those starting linebackers for Mike Nolan's guys.
They're exactly where they're supposed to be defensively. They're tough to fool. Randy Jordan is in on 3rd and 4. Gannon can't find anybody. Now scrambles, and Brian Cox got him. Depending on the mark, and it looks like they're going to be short as Gannon bounced forward.
Here's going to be, I think, one of the biggest decisions in this game. They're going to be about a half a yard short.
I don't think there's a decision.
No, there is, I guess. No, look at Gruden.
Good pressure on the outside. This time Brian Cox comes around from the right end. Rich Gannon, look once, look twice. Nice job by the official marking the ball where it is, not where his head was.
If he had had the ball in a normal position under his arm, that would have been a first down, but he had it down around his waist or his knees.
But wasn't that a great play by Brian Cox? I mean, he was blocked behind Gannon. He just stayed with it and followed Gannon all the way to the hole. Now they're really going to take a hard look at this thing.
What do you do?
What do? You punt it.
I think so. I agree. I think you kick it. You kick it, and you try not to kick it out of the stadium like you've been doing. Pin him down deep.
I know, but I understand why he doesn't kick it out of bounds.
You seem to ask that question a lot. Yeah.
And we never get an answer.
We never get an answer.
They don't yell up.
Make a note.
Because we don't want to. That's why, dummy.
Blackler will kick to Johnson.
There's a good kick. Out of bounds.
Thank you. Hey, listen.
Hello.
Hey, listen.
39-yard kick and no return, perfectly angled to the sideline. The Jets again in a huge hole. They start from their 7. Empty backfield. Vinny to throw. In or out of bounds. Inbounds complete at the 23. Dedrick Ward somehow got his feet down.
Well, we're going to have to take a look at this one just to make sure. Vinny does a nice job of reading the coverage and being patient. Woodson goes off. He lets him go because Richie Anderson is out front.
No.
Ooh, it looks like
may have touched his toe.
No, throw the flag.
I think you got to throw that little red flag out there or do something.
Throw the red doily out.
Watch this.
There it is, his right foot.
Now, Paul, I think he got his toe down.
It's going to be it goes right left. It's just a question of does he have possession
before the right one comes down.
Well, yeah. It's the right one down when he has
Oakland is
possession,
challenging the ruling
and
on
the
the
left
field.
one drags on out.
See, the fans love the ruling.
After reviewing the play, the receiver caught the ball up here while the second foot was still on the ground. The second foot came down after possession. Therefore, the ruling on the field stands as called. First down. Oakland is charged his first timeout.
He said the second foot was on the ground. He meant the first, and then the second came down. And John Gruden really upset. A 3 for 9 on replay challenges. That's right at the NFL average. That includes the last one. It cost him a timeout.
Well, I think, now you can come out. Now you get Curtis Martin a little running room. Get him going again at the edges.
Martin on the toss, trying to cut it back. Nowhere to go.
Charles Woodson.
Woodson did a great job coming up from the corner. The winner is in the playoffs. The loser would have to wait at least another week. We're in Oakland for the Jets and the Raiders, each team in control of its division.
How about the Baltimore Ravens? Went 5 games, didn't score a touchdown, qualified for the playoffs. Congratulations, Coach Billy.
And to Trent Dilfer, who was the guy who made it happen. 2nd and 10 for the Jets. Anderson for the Raiders, just playing sensational defense. That time William Thomas was all over Richie Anderson.
You really have to have an awful lot of confidence in a linebacker, and we talked about William Thomas, what a great linebacker he is, to put him on Richie Anderson, and when they know that they're going to throw the ball at least 10 times to Richie Anderson in the course of this ball game.
William Thomas has 22 career interceptions, a 2-time Pro Bowler with the Eagles. 3rd and 6. Pressure on Testaverde. Floats one for Corbett. He got it. That is a heck of a throw by Testaverde with a guy draped all over him.
Corbett just beats Torrey James right off the line of scrimmage. And Vinny Testaverde had the presence of mind just to hang it up in the air. All he wanted to do was get this out of his hands. Now, if James runs into him, it's interference. Corbett almost lets it sneak away, but not too many get away from him. Almost like a punt return. Look at that. Catching a punt.
Wayne Corbett has got to be thinking, come down. Please, just come down.
Quickly.
Put your hand up for a fair catch. Hey.
First time the Jets have crossed midfield in this ball game. Vinny to throw again. Contact.
Wow, I'll tell you what.
Stone's looking for a flag against Eric Allen. And he's really beefing about it.
Well, you get there a little bit soon. I think Eric Allen, this is the experience of Eric Allen, number 25. Watch this on the top side. Number 21 on Stone. Here, boom. That's too early. That's pass interference.
It's a second and a half too early.
Now you know why Stone's mad.
The Jets almost exclusively throwing the football. Vinny under pressure. Somehow gets away and then throws it away.
And there's a flag down. There's a holding penalty.
Pressuring the quarterback by Marquez Hook. Penalty flag in the
face mask.
You know, I don't think Vinny got out of the tight end box. I really think that should have been called intentional grounding. He gave ground, but he didn't move laterally, I thought, to get out of where the tight end box is to qualify for intentional grounding.
No intentional grounding as the quarterback was out of the pocket. Illegal hands, defense, number 91, 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Ed must have our audio down there. He's addressing your needs right away.
I'm not quite certain he was at it. I'll show you what the box looks like, and let's see if he gets out. Okay, the box comes all the way back from where the tight end positions are. So you got to figure he's got to be outside the Pirate's eye or the chin of the Pirate. Now he moves to the right, moves to the right.
He's out.
Yep, good job. Not by a lot, but you don't need to be out by a lot.
Draw play to Martin. He's swallowed in the backfield.
You talk about William Thomas and his cover ability, Paul. There's one coming out of the blocks on a blitz and having the presence of mind to go after the running back and not just be focused on a quarterback.
I'll tell you, that play isn't made. I think it was Grady Jackson, number 90. If that play isn't made, he's gone.
By blowing it up.
Oh.
2nd and 14, time winding down first quarter. Screen, Martin. Curtis Martin. First down and more. To the 21.
Man, you know, you talk about him making people miss and then running through people. Curtis Martin is sensational. He's just sensational.
He is that, and the Jets often overlooked. Offensive line is doing the job. They did on that screen. First down Jets when we come back. For the New York Jets, he has given them a first down. Draw play, Martin. Not this time. Got back to the line of scrimmage. Darrell Russell with the tackle. Martin, one of the most versatile and one of the most dangerous backs in all of football. 5th all-time in total yards from scrimmage. Look at the company. Jim Brown, Barry Sanders, Marshall Faulk, Walter Payton, and Curtis Martin. That means you're going to be in the Hall of Fame someday.
And what you said in the first quarter, and if you named 3 backs, his name would not be in there.
That's right. It's amazing. Vinny scrambling. And throws it away. Once again, William Thomas all over him. Let's go to Solomon Wilcots.
Yeah, Mike, Bill Parcells and Curtis Martin, well, they have a relationship that goes beyond the typical player-coach relationship. Last week when Parcells, the master psychologist, saw Martin nursing an injury in the training room, well, he asked Martin if he was getting old, sensing what was coming. Martin quickly said, hey, coach, don't worry about me. I'll have a good game. Martin then responded with the best game of his career. Yesterday, I asked Martin, what did Parcells say to him? He said, it's better to have a heart of a champion than a good body. He then said to Martin, you know what? You have the heart of a champion.
Boy, he does that, Solomon. Testaverde. Intercepted. His receiver fell down. Picked off by Thomas, the 23rd of his brilliant career.
Richie Anderson falls down, but I don't know if he was coming all the way across or not.
Oh, he looked like
he was planning.
No, he was coming on an angle in, is what he was trying to do. He's run a lot of out routes. This is the first time you'll see him. He goes outside the end. Now he comes back. He's trying to come back in. His inside left foot slips. And William Thomas, again, right there. Then he makes this throw, expecting him to be there.
Thomas leads the Raiders in interceptions, so the Jets' threat is snuffed out just by a slip. Raiders start from their own 18 in a scoreless struggle. Wheatley This is the guy they want to get untracked, and the Jets won't cooperate.
Well, and the Raiders told us, too, the one thing that they really want to do is run the ball between the tackles. Well, I'm going to tell you what. Against the 3-4, you think that's really smart to do, except these linebackers play so very well and they're so quick that I might want to go outside a little more.
2nd and 8 at the 21.
Kaufman is in for Wheatley at running back on 2nd and 8. 3 wide receivers. Down to the near side, and Kaufman bounces back to the 20-yard line.
Didn't I say go outside a little bit?
Yeah, I didn't hear you this time either.
They didn't hear me, huh? What? Let's go outside a little bit. See, these linebackers, they don't move. You look at them on the inside, they just don't move. Gordon, 54, is there. 55 is Jones. They're there.
And a nice job by Jason Ferguson, the nose tackle.
When you play a 3-4, you need a nose tackle like Buffalo has with Ted Washington. You need that big anchor in the middle to allow Brian Cox and those linebackers to run.
Raiders are 0 for 4 on 3rd down. Gannon, sidearms one intended for Brown, nearly picked by Victor Green.
I mean,
these defenses are playing at the highest level tonight.
And Gannon is making some poor choices because that time he just threw the ball into 3 guys.
Well, Victor Green does such a nice job of helping out. This time, Aaron Glenn has got Brown in coverage. See number 21? He just cuts him loose to him, and there it is. He sneaks inside, just couldn't quite get his footing enough to get in front and pick that one off.
Leckler to punt again. Leon Johnson from the 36. Takes it to the 42. This is what film study does for you. You're in the right place at the right time. Immediately accepted by the players. They said this guy has to prove that he is really going to be the head coach of the Raiders.
Well, he also brought an offense that was anti-Oakland Raiders. You know, that bombs away. Let's go down the field. They play a controlled football game now.
Well, I've had the good fortune to be around John. We spend a lot of time talking football. Last couple of days, I was in there at 6:30 with him having coffee and donuts. He's going through the game plan, constantly tweaking things, trying to match up his play calls with the personnel that he has on the field and what he feels like he can get the best. So far, he hasn't come up with the right formula yet.
Testaverde to throw on 1st down. Too high. Picked off by Allen. Eric Allen down the sideline. Touchdown.
Oh, my.
Didn't we talk about that big plays can come from defense, too? Eric Allen. Richie Anderson is the wide receiver. Eric's in zones. Look at him look back at the quarterback. He cuts him loose to the backers underneath. Richie Anderson just lets it go through his hands. Eric Allen does a nice job of juggling one-handed and makes the catch. Watch this. Ball's a little high, but not too high. Wouldn't you know it, his 50th and his 51st interceptions have both gone for touchdowns.
Back-to-back weeks, Sebastian Janikowski for the point after. So Richie Anderson's failure to catch a pass cost the Jets 7 points as Eric Allen takes it to the house. Richie Anderson has been a terrific receiver for the Jets. He has led them in catches, 66. It's a career high. 601 yards, a career high. But he has really hurt them tonight. His second drop led to that 50-yard interception return. Leon Johnson almost beheaded Eric Johnson on special teams. Nearly got the tackle, the ball, and a head to go with it.
Well, you know, this is the only time that Johnson really gets a chance to play. Now, watch this play here. That is about as close as you're going to get to face mask, and in fact that he goes for the head. So that's just hustle to get downfield.
14-yard.
That's hustle and an attitude.
Well, you don't get to play much. When you get out there, you got to make people notice you. That's how these guys, all of these guys, made these football teams on special teams.
Nebraska guy. You know, tough Nebraska kind of guy.
Now the crowd is frenetic. Martin buried, and there's a marker down as well. Curtis Martin was 7 yards deep, got the ball, couldn't even take a step.
No play. The play was blown dead, so there really was no play.
Tell that to Curtis Martin. And Marquez Pope coming toward the sideline. He's hurt.
He was the one before that they were working
Ball
on.
was snapped. False start. Offense. Number 71. 5-yard penalty. Still first down. There was not a late hit. The whistle could not be heard in that area of the field.
Kerry Jenkins, the left guard, with a false start.
You have to remember how young Al Groh's football team is. Look, Al's just in the shadows of darkness over there. Fabini, 3 years. You know, Kerry Jenkins, just 3 years in their third year.
Martin on the toss. Tripped up as he got to the 17. Greg Biekert with another stop. When the turnover battle goes your way, the Jets are 7-0, 2-4 when they lose it. The Raiders place even more emphasis on it if possible. They are 10-0 when they win the turnover battle. If it's negative, they're 0-3.
And they only it was 2-1 last week against Pittsburgh. They wound up coming up short.
And the Raiders had 2 picks of Vinny Testaverde so far tonight. The only 2 turnovers in the ballgame. 2nd and 13. Jets had 12 men on the field. Have to run them off. Quebec with a reverse. Had no chance. Lance Johnstone.
Oh, man. First of all, the Jets were really confused because they had 12 guys on the field. And they had to run a guy off. Now you're going to run a reverse around or an end around to Lance Johnstone, one of the experienced players. And all he does, Lance Johnstone knows, all I have to do is stay out here. And there he is. He's just waiting. Quebec comes, and he tackles him.
I think they've got to get the ball to Quebec somehow, but not on reverses. He's got to work the inside of this Raider defense and make some plays in the passing game.
3rd and 21 now from their own 9.
Another flag.
Penalty flag on the field.
You know,
delay of game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. After distance to the goal. It's still 3rd down.
You know, Mike, you were talking about Richie Anderson. Here's a guy that's made a few mistakes. One he slips is an interception for a touchdown. I remember what Al Groh said yesterday. He said, when in a game like this of this magnitude, one of your key players will crack. Whether it's on our team or the other team, they'll crack. And when they crack, the other team will take advantage of it.
But I don't believe that Richie Anderson has cracked. I just think that he's had some unfortunate situations come up. Doesn't appear to be the kind of guy who will do that.
But crack, what he meant by crack was they make a mistake, a crucial mistake.
He's done that.
3rd and a mile. Screen to Martin. Oh, brilliant play by Josh Taves.
Took on all 3 screen blockers. All 3 of them. He was a one-man, I'll chase him down, I got the screen. What terrific effort.
Great effort,
Look
Joe.
at number 99. He's running out with all the linemen, all by himself, 3 guys, and winds up making the tackle. That's great effort.
Tupa comes on again to kick to Dunn. The Raiders defense has provided the only point on an Eric Allen interception return. Another poor kick by Tupa. This one bites like a wedge and all the way back to the Jets' 47-yard line. A kick of only 29, and now we've got a fight.
Dorsett, now the flag's going. Dorsett's in there, and
not for long.
Anthony Dorsett with the helmet off and everything. He and Dwight Stone were going at it.
Well, the flag went up when Dorsett got a hold of Dwight Stone's face mask. Stone couldn't get his because he'd already ripped off Dorsett's helmet.
Now we have the old offsetting fouls.
Yeah, and there's a chance that both of them could wind up having a real short night, which would be a major blow to the Raiders because Dorsett...
After the ball was dead, personal foul, unnecessary roughness by the receiving team, number 33. Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, kicking team, number 83. The penalty's offset. First down.
It was Dorsett and Stone offsetting penalties, so the Raiders get a break. Jets 47 after the fourth punt. Gannon. All day to throw. Now he takes off. And pushed out of bounds by Roman Pfeiffer.
Tim Brown has not been a part of this offense. Aaron Glenn is covering him basically one-on-one all over the field. He's been real tough on the Jets. Got 68 receptions, 9 TDs, and John Gruden basically makes his point. He said, hey, he is the guy in this offense that we count on. And so far, Gannon has not been able to find him.
Brown in the top 10 all-time in the 3 major receiving categories: yards, catches, and touchdowns. Napoleon Kaufman is on in the backfield. Gannon fakes it to him and wants to throw. Sidearms one complete for minimal yardage. Got that one to Jeremy Brigham, the tight end. And Jim Brown has been the Jet killer. Most receiving yards against one team, 124 a game against the Jets.
0 tonight.
It means he has 124 coming. If you believe in averages.
We better hurry up.
Randy Jordan has checked in as the third down back, 3rd and 3.
I got.
Gannon with all day again. Jordan in the flat, 1st down and more. Inside the 20.
That play was made by the offensive line. Gannon had so much time to look at the field, it allowed Jordan to sneak from his halfback position across the formation and out into the flat. The big guys up front. Barrett Robbins, number 63 on Ferguson. There you see Kennedy make the quick spin move to pick him up. Look at this time. Now he has a chance to just dump it out in the flat.
That's 3 plays in a row that Rich Gannon has had all night to throw it. Wheatley back in the running back. The big guy gets the call inside the 15-yard line. Rick Lyle with the tackle.
One of the big differences in the Raiders of late under John Gruden has been the decision for them to run the ball in the red area. You take a look at the run percentage in 97 before he got here, only 39% of the time. Since that, it's averaged over 60%. And here you see in this year, 2nd highest run percentage in the league. That's why you can be efficient in the red area.
Now they're going to throw.
Probably.
Gannon again with a lot of time. Too high for Rison, who was open.
Intended for Andre Rison. Aaron Glenn with the coverage for the Jets.
Trying to run the ball more has produced. They are 8th in the NFL in touchdown percentage inside the 20.
I'll tell you, though, the Jets are awfully tough down there. They play a 3-4 defense, basically, which means that they're willing to drop 7 and 8 people back towards the goal line and give you very small holes to squeeze it in.
3rd and 7. Jordan and Richie are the backs. Brown goes in motion. Blitz coming. Gannon with a lot of room to run. First down at the 2.
I just got to laugh at what Gannon did at the end of that run, Joe. He's running, he saw the opening, and you know, a lot of guys, younger guys, I'll go dive for this. He just went right out of bounds and let 2 other guys collide.
This is what I was talking about, the coverage. He has nowhere really to go with the football. And one of the special emphasis that John Gruden made to Richie Gannon was, we get in the red area, you take 1, maybe 2 looks, you tuck it down and go. And that's exactly what he did.
1st and goal for the Raiders. Wheatley. Flag is down, thrown by the umpire. That usually means a hold. What a terrible place if it's a holding call. First and goal at the 1, and it is. And John Gruden will be beside himself.
Holding, offense, number 63, 10-yard penalty. Let's repeat first down.
Eric Robbins, the center. Boy,
Number
he's a good one, too.
Oh, boy, I'll tell you, when I just grabbed his arm the other day, I almost hurt my fingers. Number 63 is the center. Just take a look at this block on Ernie Logan, and then throws him to the ground. And you're right there in front of the umpire. You see the ump cam? Look at this. Down on the ground. You just can't grab the guy and throw him on the ground. That's a good call.
So they'll back it up just outside the 11-yard line. Still first and goal.
Now I think, you've tried to the wide receiver. Maybe you work to the tight end on this one.
3-man rush. Gannon goes over the middle to the 7. And Tim Brown gets his first grab of the night.
Well, I'll tell you, you're absolutely right, Joe. There literally is no place to throw the ball down here. You have two linebackers that were sitting there waiting. Jones and Cox. Brown sets up, and they just let him set up right there in front.
This is the old New York Giant philosophy, isn't it?
I remember when we played the Giants, when Parcells and Belichick and Groh were there, the philosophy was, we'll give you 4 or 5 yard completions, but we're not going to let you throw the ball into the end zone. And they just squeeze all the zones down, which is really contrary to what a lot of people do here, go man-to-man.
Second and goal, they come with a blitz. They don't get there. Pass. Touchdown, Rising.
That's why you don't blitz.
He beat Scott Frost, the safety.
Boy, they got the matchup they wanted. They wanted Andre Rison on a safety. They got it. And Andre Rison, this is the perfect throw and a great catch. Watch the route by Andre Rison. Little hesitation, freezes Frost, 47, bang,
but
touchdown.
The first thing that comes to my mind, what is Scott Frost doing covering Andre Rison?
Well, he wasn't covering him. That's what's the problem.
What was he doing trying to cover him? You've got Marcus Coleman and Aaron Glenn are your corners.
The 83rd touchdown catch of Andre Rison's 12-year career. And the Raiders have taken command at home. High and short. Stone lowers his head and is drilled as he got to the 26.
Well, Richie Anderson jogs back on the field, but boy, has he had a tough first half so far. Early in the first quarter, he has an opportunity to get the Jets out of a hole down deep. Vinny Testaverde just lays one right to him, drops it. The next one going in, slips, winds up with an interception. This one now goes right through his hands. Eric Allen runs it in for his 51st interception and his second consecutive touchdown return.
Good move by Al Groh. Goes right over to Richie Anderson. You know he's telling him, we've counted on you all year. You can do it.
We need you.
And he can. Empty backfield for Testaverde. Has to scramble. And Vinny is sacked at the 19. Elijah Alexander.
Boy, you know, we talked about the New York Jets linebackers being speed and coverage. But I'm going to tell you what. Elijah Alexander showed us some speed.
Yeah, but watch the coverage. There's Woodson on Dedrick Ward getting a little help from the linebacker. Now look, Vinny wants to get rid of the ball fast. Nice job of switching. Marquez Pope jumps up on Curtis Martin. Now he's got nowhere to go, and this is not Vinny Testaverde's strength.
No, if he's got to do this, he's not Rich Gannon. The Jets are in a lot of trouble. Testaverde with a quick throw this time. Marquez Pope makes the tackle on Richie Anderson. They put him out as a wide receiver.
They're going hurry up. This is an offense that they feel comfortable with. They feel like it'll create mismatch problems for the Raiders trying to figure out who to cover.
3rd and 12. Vinny throws complete right at the sticks. This will be close.
This is going to require Hawkeye McGuire's call, I think. He's so good at this.
Richie Anderson with back-to-back catches.
Hey, they go right back to the guy. You know, this guy has been carrying you. He's your leading receiver on the team, and he's a back, and then they go back to him again.
Richie Anderson, for most of his career, had been virtually invisible. This year, he has really emerged as a receiver.
Well, they got him out there on Marquez Pope, who's a safety. That was a nice thrown catch. Get on the way, Joe.
I'm sorry. Can you see it?
Every face is different.
You got to do it before they measure.
Everything's got it.
Sensitive skin to extra moisturizer.
I can't give it.
It's a little disqualified.
No.
Clutch play by the Jets offense to keep this drive alive. They certainly needed down 14-0.
That's a heck of a call to go to the hurry-up also. Go back to the same formation. Creates a problem for Gruden's defense.
1st and 10 at the 37. Algrove's been in a situation before. The Jets have been miracle workers this year. Recently have played well from the start, not tonight. Curtis Martin never had a chance. Grady Jackson, who became a starter when Russell Maryland left, leads the down linemen in tackles, has a half-dozen sacks on the year. He's been terrific.
What these defensive linemen are doing, Joe, is they're going to the quarterback, but they're getting the back on the way to it. They're not eliminating the back. They know how important Curtis Martin is. Watch number 90. Jackson, they had a deal going on in the middle. He makes the play, makes the tackle.
Vinny under pressure again. Hit as he throws. Corbett makes the catch. Gets back just past the original line of scrimmage. And Greg Biekert, one of the most overlooked linebacking talents in the league, made the stop.
Again, staying in the hurry. Keep in mind, there's 3:40, 3:35 to go in the half. They don't have to be in a hurry to do this. It just helps them out offensively.
3rd and 9. Testaverde to the sideline. Anderson and Corbett were right there together, and Corbett upset because he knows that was wrong.
Benny was trying to throw a quick pass, and
well, I think what it was supposed to be was a hook, and then the other guy was supposed to go up top, but both of them hooked and stopped. In that case, he's got to throw the ball away and not make it that exciting for Charles Woodson.
Tupel will kick to David Dunn. This guy's a big punt return, 220 pounds. Good kick this time by Tupel. Dunn from the 13, room to run. Ooh, great block by Johnson. Just a hellacious block from Johnson, a 19-yard return after a punt of 49. Napoleon Kaufman, the speed guy. Didn't get much of a chance to get up ahead of steam. Cut down after a gain of 3. Ernie Logan out from the nose, and Logan a little slow to get up.
You know how good a play that is for Ernie Logan to be a nose tackle and make a play outside for a 2-yard gain on a toss?
Well, Al Grove basically called him his 6th man. A couple weeks ago, he stuck him in the lineup, said, hey, look, when the 6th man plays that well, he automatically becomes the 5th man. Watch the nose tackle, 93. They've got this thing designed well, but he runs under the block and makes the tackle.
Now, that's 290 pounds with a lot of mobility. Gannon, play action, wants it all. Jet. Got it. He beat Hayes to the 17-yard line.
Who said the Raiders don't have a vertical passing game?
I'm going to tell you something. James Jett looked like he was in a track meet. I mean, there was nobody out there. He was gone.
That's what he was.
Inside
track guy.
Number 82. Again, Aaron Glenn thinks he's got help. He runs all the way across Chris Hayes' face. That ball's out a little further. He's still running, but does a nice job of making the catch and getting the yards.
We have reached a 2-minute warning in Oakland. The Raiders up 14. They are bidding for more. Absolutely.
How about those Giants?
How about those Giants?
How about those Redskins?
We got those Giants next week.
Goodbye. Napoleon Kaufman, the running back. Nice hole. Picks up about 4 and a flag in late.
Tripping against the Jets. We got a couple of guys. We got a guy from each team down.
Napoleon Kaufman taking up in the play for the Raiders.
Rick Lyles hurt for the Jets, and it looks like Kaufman is the man down for the Raiders.
Number 95, as Kaufman is down. Rick Lyle. Take a look at number 95, right on the left-hand side of your screen. Boom.
Oh, yeah.
That's the trip.
And that's how he got hurt. And Kaufman got it in the knee.
Here it is. He just kicks it right in the shin.
On the defense, number 95, 10-yard penalty, first down. Timeout inside the last 2 minutes also requires that a timeout be charged to the Jets for their injured player. However, the Raiders will not be charged a timeout for their injured player because that player was injured as a result of the trip. Therefore, by rule, they're not charged. First down.
That's a wonderful explanation.
Go, Ed. Thank you. I want to go back and show you the pass play that set up this opportunity for the Raiders. Confuses and holds the safeties a little. Now he's just running, really outruns Richie Gannon's arm a little bit, and Chris Hayes has to get on his horse to catch up to him. The
James Jett, the track champion who played his college ball at West Virginia.
Only his 15th catch of the year, though. But a big one.
And Kaufman limping noticeably on that right leg.
Right.
They're taking him to the locker room as we only have 1:55 to go before the half. Struggling for extra yardage inside the 2.
That ball actually came out, guys.
I think he landed right on it.
Luckily, but that ball actually came out. Now, he fumbled 2 last week. Watch this. There goes Wheatley. That ball is out before his knee hits the ground, and fortunately, he's able to reach over and get it.
Ernie Logan did a nice job, made the tackle, and reached over top with his left hand, got a piece of the ball. 3 fumbles in 2 games for Tyrone Wheatley. He has a broken left pinky on his right hand. That's the one he had it in. Wheatley again. Tripped up, gets to the goal line. Touchdown. And that one really hurts the Jets.
Number 72 is Lincoln Kennedy. Number 83 is Ricky Dudley. And they're on the end of the line. Watch the blocking. 83 and 72. They just cave in on that outside. And this is Wheatley not giving up. Continuous action. Look at this. He's tripped up in the backfield and continues on and makes a touchdown.
How did he keep his balance after he was tripped at the 3-yard line? Just kept fighting forward. And Janikowski adds the point after. The Raiders, who can make the playoffs with a win, are up 21-0. Johnson and Stone are deep, and the Raiders have assumed control of this one. Janikowski with a low line drive. Nice catch by Stone. Dwight Stone out to the 35.
Dwight Stone with a kick return.
It was a slug-it-out, 0-0 tie, and then Vinny Testaverde threw one through the hands of his usually reliable Richie Anderson. Eric Allen, his 51st career interception, takes it 50 yards for a touchdown. Then Rich Gannon throws a touchdown pass, and Wheatley gets the 3rd score. Just moments ago, it's 21-0 Raiders.
You ready for this? The Jets have rushed 12 times, Joe, for 1 yard. That's 3 inches a try.
Let's see, let me do that math.
Testaverde fakes the screen, then goes to the other side to Anderson. Richie Anderson, first down and more near midfield before he's shoved out of bounds.
The Jets have the capability to come back. They can't get, the big thing is they cannot get in long yardage situations where the Raiders can come after Vinny Testaverde. They've got to keep it manageable. First, 2nd down and 6, 2nd down and 7. As Dan Henning looks over that play sheet of his, it's formations, spreading them out, and I think the Raiders will give him opportunities and not try and go after Vinny. So he should be able to move the ball down the field in this situation. Vinny has to scramble.
Throws complete to Anderson. They'll gain only a yard, and the clock continues to run. 2 timeouts left for the Jets.
That would have been better off being an incompletion.
Sure would.
Drop it.
No, that's not the one you want to catch.
Lyle being taken off to the locker room.
Got to find Corbett in the middle of this defense.
Throws underneath to Martin. He dives. He gets about 8 yards, and timeout called from the 44. Only 28 seconds left. The Jets will have 1 timeout left. Eagles, where he was an all-pro, he's had a great career.
Did that in 93.
3rd and 2. Then he's trying to keep it alive, and it's knocked down by Torrey James.
Boy, Torrey James got one hand on this. He's trying to get control. It's a great play, but if he gets control, it's gone.
Yeah, and I think you're the Jets. On 4th down, you have to go for it as well.
How about punt? I think they should punt. I saw Tupa coming on. Here it is. Look at this. Look at this. Oh, if he gets control of that ball and knocks it up in the air, he'd have a chance.
And I think Charles Woodson felt like he might have had a chance if it got through.
I think the thing they're afraid of here is giving him the ball at field position, maybe giving up another score. But I had to agree with you. I thought they needed to go for it here.
Well, the Raiders have 2 timeouts, and I think that might have been one of the things that determined it.
Tupa will kick to Dunn. High floater. Dunn, fair catch at the 14. 18 seconds. Now make it 17 to go now. The Raiders are going to be very content with a 21-0 lead and run out the clock, and why not? After some jousting back and forth, they certainly have control of this ball game. And Vinny will have to pull out another miracle. Let's go to Solomon Wilcox.
Coach, your defense gets 2 interceptions in the first half. Offense come out with big plays. Is this the best start your team has had, particularly with the playoff issues on the line?
I don't know about all that. I know there's a lot of hitting going down here. There's a lot of football left to be played. We know about the Jets, what they're capable of doing. We just got to keep playing hard.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Eric Allen, 50-yard interception return for a touchdown. The biggest play in the first half that opened up the Raider lead. Charles Woodson battling all the way, fighting off a blocker. And the frustration of Rick Lyle, who was injured late in the half as the Jets defense has been burned for 21. If the Jets come back, and they certainly can based on their history this year, they would clinch a playoff berth and tie Miami for the lead in the AFC East, and they have the tiebreaker over the Dolphins. If the Raiders win, they clinch a playoff berth and keep their 1-game lead over the Denver Broncos in the AFC West. The Raiders have not made the playoffs since 1993, and they are really geeked out here in Oakland.
You know, basically, I like what Tim Brown said. You know, the reason for that is we never really had a coach. He said we had guys, but now we have a coach.
Guys that weren't necessarily in control.
That guy is.
I like when Solomon asked the question at the half. I don't know about all that. I know what the Jets could do.
Eric Allen, one of the great corners to ever play this game. The Jets, 3 touchdowns in 1 quarter for the first time since 1996. The Raiders did it then. That was when Rich Kotite was the head coach of the Jets. It's a memory the New York fans would just as soon forget. John Hall to kick it away, so the Raiders will get the ball first. If you're a Jets fan, keep in mind the Miami comeback. Hall, line drive kick done. To the 30, breaks a tackle.
Flag down.
Tatum down with a kick return from the 5-yard line.
27-yard return. Let's see if it stands. It will not.
Tackle, penalty flag on the field.
Holding. Receiving team number 37 during the return. 10-yard penalty. Raiders keep the ball, first down.
A few moments ago, our Solomon Wilcox caught up with Jets head coach Al Groh. A very solid coach, a very intellectual approach to the game. You can imagine he abandoned the intellectual part at halftime and really tried to get his team pumped up.
Well, you listen to what Gruden said. I don't care. We know what they can do in the second half, and that's not the way we play. I love it when the coaches talk like that.
Here are the first half numbers. The biggest, the turnovers. 2-0. One was returned for a touchdown. The Jets have passed for 141 yards. They have rushed for one. They had 199 last week against the Steelers.
1 in 12 carries.
Wow. Blitz coming. Gannon with time. Jet could not stay in bounds, but got it to midfield. He beat Marcus Coleman.
That formation, the slot formation, has really created a problem for the Jets when they go play action. The linebackers are so anxious to come up. Here comes the blitz by Chris Hayes. Now everybody's stuck in the secondary of man-to-man coverage, and that's Coleman trying to cover Jet.
Lincoln Kennedy blocking number 72 on Sean Ellis. He's number 92. Look at this. He just turns him around. Yeah, where are you going? Outside.
Raiders at midfield, 1st and 10. Randy Jordan, the single setback. Jordan will get the call. Cuts it outside. He'll pick up 5. Rick Lyle, the starting left defensive end for the Jets, is having x-rays right now. They are not sure of his availability for the second half. And Napoleon Kaufman, who was hit in the leg by Lyle's trip, has a bruise, and he is expected to return.
Take 4 yards on the play. 2nd and 6 at the 46.
That's Sean Ellis, the rookie out of Tennessee, who was in for a while at that left end spot. 2nd and 6 for the Raiders. Gannon pump fake. Now he has to scramble. Wheatley can't hold it.
Passing complete, intended for Tyrone Wheatley. Brian Cox with the cover.
Here was a situation with Rich Gannon. He really didn't have to leave the pocket because this offensive line, they're blocking very well against the defensive line, and all he had to do was kind of sit there.
You know, you bring up a really good point, Paul. I think the thing is, Richie is instinctive, though, in his decisions. He doesn't like what he sees on the left, looks for the tight end. Now he says, hey, I'm gone. And it's something that Gruden has really harped on him with this week. Take one look, take 2 looks, and then get out and make a play.
That's Barrett Robbins, one of the best centers in the game. Gannon underneath. Dudley makes the catch and has the first down inside the 40. James Ferrier was there, but Dudley made the catch.
Boy, again, when you have this much time to throw the ball, Rich Gannon can just sit there and wait.
Ricky Dudley releases hard inside. You see Ferrier trying to stay with them. He does a good job of staying with the ball.
You're talking about Barrett Robbins and the guys in the center of the line, Lincoln Kennedy. They're just moving out to the other. Wisniewski. Let me just tell you something. This offensive line is big, and they are strong.
Gannon slides in safely. He got away from Mo Lewis, who had a shot at a sack and missed him.
See, that's why I think he's an MVP candidate. When everything breaks down, he's always come up with positive yards. And it isn't just in this game. He's done it week after week. Like a Donovan McNabb, who I certainly think is one in Philadelphia. He's done a terrific job. And Andy Reid's got his guys going to the playoffs, too.
Rich Gannon approaching 500 yards rushing this year from his quarterback spot.
When you consider Vinny Testaverde in this game has a total of 32 yards rushing, you see how important Vinny getting protection is and Richie making plays.
Jordan on the toss has no chance. Wrapped up in the backfield, a loss of about 3. Marcus Coleman who got him. The quarterback position in the NFL has become a more athletic position. Look at the rush. I'm sorry, Joe. Look at these numbers. I don't know if you had a lot of rushing yards. I don't know if you ever put up 609. Here's the way Donovan McNabb has. Gannon 466. The other young guys, Culpepper and Garcia right there, but Rich Gannon, the only advancing age quarterback to be in that list.
Advancing age?
We're trying to be kind. Crockett and Jordan in the backfield on 3rd and 8. Blitz coming, they don't get there. Gannon has to scramble, and this time they got him for a sack back at the 39.
Well, I'll tell you what, credit this whole thing to the defensive secondary of the Jets. There was absolutely nobody open. Rison, Jet, and Brown, not one of them are clear. Rison got a jersey ripped off. You see Rison, number 80 on the top side. There's Brown. He's covered by Mickens. Brown's going down the middle. He's covered. And on the bottom over here was Jet, and he was covered.
Leckler will kick to Leon Johnson. They'll down it at the 2. A 38-yard kick, and Johnny Harris with a sensational play. Johnny Harris on special teams keeps it in the field of play. Lucas on a roll. Throws complete for a gain of 3. Let's go to Solomon Wilcots.
Yeah, Mike, just been told by the Jets that Vinny Testaverde is injured or growing. He will not return to the ball game. So we're going to see Ray Lucas. He's going to play the second half.
Boy, and that's tough news, Solomon. Vinny had orchestrated those comebacks.
Well, like what the Jets did. They rolled Lucas out right away. Let's get him started. Let's get him throwing the ball.
We've talked about mobile quarterbacks, and certainly Ray Lucas can run. Martin on the toss. He'll lose a yard. Tried to cross him up, faked it to Anderson, and then pitched it.
Man, I don't like that play. Not coming out in the end zone. When you running a toss in the end zone and flip the ball like that, there's just too many bad things that can happen on this play. Here it comes right here. The fake, the flip out to the outside. And remember, Martin's catching this ball back in the end zone.
Boy, and it doesn't matter who you fake it to. Somebody's going to follow Curtis Martin.
Yeah, they are.
Lucas from the end zone. Incomplete. The diving try by Lavernius Coles comes up a yard short. They'll have to kick again.
Eric Allen may be up in years a little bit with 13 years of experience, and he has come off of some knee surgery, but I'll tell you, he can run now. Last year he struggled, took outside position. Watch when Coles puts it on. He's the fastest Jet. Eric Allen not very far away.
Dunn waits at midfield for Tupa's kick. Dunn from the Jet 49. Inside the 40, near the 37-yard line. 44-yard kick, a 12-yard return, and Bradford Fanta with his second special teams tackle of the night. Wheatley. Boy, the Raiders would just like to go to work right now and grind some time off that clock, maybe get a field goal out of this drive.
Take 7 minutes off the clock. Yeah, you're right. Get anything.
That Jet defense will not allow it. I think if they can pound it, Gruden can throw a couple of play-action passes in like he did before and then go up top. Of course, when you're behind by 21 points, Curtis Martin becomes so much less of a factor, whether it be split out or just trying to run the football.
Look at the time Gannon has to throw, and he completes it to Brown at the 13.
I'm going to tell you, that's incredible. He sat back there, and he just waited. He actually waited for Brown to clear all the people he had to clear. Watch this block. And Barrett Robinson center, it starts there. Now look at these guys. There's no place to go off the line of scrimmage. Ernie Logan is double team. There's no place you're going. And then the perfect pass to Brown.
But the play action sets it up. It causes all 4 of those linebackers to take a step forward and creates that voided zone between the backers and the secondary.
Raiders on the march. Wheatley slips a couple of tacklers down to the 10.
Flag on the play.
Tyron Wheatley, the ball carrier.
I said earlier, Wheatley had a broken left pinky on his right hand, which was pretty good. And unless he had some DNA problems, that's impossible. Will be a procedural call.
Illegal formation, offense. Number 65 was the end man on the line of scrimmage. 5-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
So they'll mark him back at the 18-yard line, and it will be 1st and 15.
For those of you that are confused about that, an offensive lineman can be on the line of scrimmage if he reports.
On the end.
On the end of the line of scrimmage. He can be.
Oh, I knew what you were saying.
Yeah. Well, Mike's helped me out. I got that down perfectly.
You guys are a great team.
Thank you.
See you anytime you feel.
I enjoy listening to you.
Just jump in.
Wheatley nailed this time, never got out of the backfield as Shane Burton out of Tennessee got the tackle.
The Jets defensively are playing like they've played. A couple of big plays have, gotten away from them. The mismatch, Frost on Rison down for the touchdown, still confuses me. But Brian Cox continuing to clog up the middle for the running game.
The Raiders just eating up the clock. Gannon, short set, throws, bobbled and intercepted. Aaron Glenn trying to pick up blockers. And now goes down at the 39. That ball was right in the hands of Ricky Dudley. It's the thing that has plagued him his career. He'll make a spectacular play and then a terrible drop right after. No touchdown passes this year. 2 interceptions. He has been in 6 games. It's his to do now. Lucas, quarterback draw, slides in safe at the 48.
Ricky Dudley has had his opportunities in this game. They've thrown the ball to him more than they have all year, really. First one goes through his hand now. Nice little turnout. Catch the ball. Just took his eye off it and tried to run with it. And is not happy, obviously.
A talented athlete, but a guy who has never become the player they thought he would be. At least not yet. Curtis Martin. And boy, has the Raider defense been laying in wait for Curtis Martin all night long. Grady Jackson, Reagan Upshaw, and company.
That's Fred Bolitnikoff, the wide receiver coach, just over trying to give him a little word of encouragement. We saw Al Groh try and do the same thing earlier with Richie Anderson. A couple of guys struggling, hanging on to the ball tonight.
The Jets, who had 211 yards a week ago against Indianapolis, have a meager 6 tonight. 3rd and 4. Lucas hits Beck, and the big tight end has a first down to the 39. The first catch for Anthony Beck.
The reason this play works, Lucas's mobility.
Exactly.
Only.
But boy, he wanted to go to Wayne Corbett. He was trying to work to Corbett in the middle and does a nice job. Watch Corbett. All right, I'm going to release down. I need 4 yards. Let me sit down. Okay, you want to sit down? William Thomas is squeezing him. Lucas does a nice job of sliding out and finding Beck as his outlet.
Play action by Lucas. Couldn't make up his mind. Did he want to run? Did he want to throw? Then it was too late. Darrell Russell and Grady Jackson collapsed on him.
When you see plays like this that are made, they're all coverage sacks. And that's, there should be a category for just coverage sacks. Because, look, there's no place to throw the ball. Every person downfield is covered. There's nowhere to go.
Nowhere to go for Lucas either. He tries to set and go. Good pursuit by Grady Jackson and company.
2nd and 11. Incomplete.
Oh, Allen, what a great play.
Dedrick Ward had a shot at it, but Eric Allen got there just in time.
Eric Allen, you talk about perfect timing. Dedrick Ward, 89. Look at Eric Allen. Watch it close. Now hit him. Boy, that's perfect.
Yes, it is.
And you've seen different techniques from Eric Allen. You saw earlier in the game where he was backing out, looking at the quarterback. This time he was just looking at Dedrick Ward. When he made a break on the ball, he broke up and knocked it away from him.
They've thrown the ball at Eric Allen 6 times. None of them have been complete except the one he picked off for a touchdown. Lucas. Back against the grain, intercepted.
William Thomas.
2 for the night, 24 for his career.
He had Curtis Martin all the way and stayed with him and waited and then stepped up and made the interception.
A team-leading 6 interceptions for William Thomas. William Thomas having another brilliant night as a cover linebacker. 24 career, 2 tonight, his 6th this season. He leads the team. He's done it his entire life as an NFL linebacker. He's just a great cover guy. Lucas with his 3rd interception of the season, and it came at a critical time. The Jets were marching. They needed points desperately. Big dose of Tyrone Wheatley coming the Jets' defense way.
I want to show you what Ray Lucas had to look at and the great job, not a good job, great job that the secondary of the Raiders did. Here on our Super Straighter, you'll see the position that he's in. All right, take a look at it right now. Look at it, he's covered, he's covered, he's covered. The best thing for him to do is throw it out there or run out of bounds, not throw it back across your body. William Thomas just stays with Curtis Martin, baits him, and makes the interception.
Gannon changing the play. And the Jets changing their defense. Wheatley. Tyrone Wheatley.
You know, when you talk about Gannon, his most valuable player, he just turned an audible into about a 30-yard run. This was absolutely beautiful, and he waited to the last second to that ball to be snapped. Never got flustered at all. Gannon, look at this, and then gets to the Tyrone Wheatley to the outside. He saw the defense. He knew where he wanted to go.
31-yard gain.
Perfect call.
Yeah, and Barry Sims, number 65, creates the wall with Wisniewski that gives Wheatley the alley to run up in.
Randy Jordan comes in at running back to give Wheatley a blow. And Jordan will get the call to the 15-yard line. And the Raiders can smell blood.
We're going to take a look at a block now. Mo Collins, 79 on Brian Cox, 51. Watch Mo Collins. Watch him turn him right at the hole. He turns him away. Jordan gets to the outside and picks up the first down.
Jordan out of North Carolina in his 7th year. They have used 3 backs tonight, Wheatley, Kaufman, and Jordan, as well as the 2 fullbacks, Ritchie and Crockett. Jordan again. Gannon, naked bootleg. Lowers the shoulder and gets the first down. Richie Gannon.
You're laughing because the last time he went in that direction, he didn't do it. Now he did.
Isn't that something? You know, you talk about know where you are on the field and know what you need to get. Richie Gannon, here it is. Bootleg by himself. He comes out to the outside. Now, he's looking at the marker, and he knows he's got Aaron Glenn. Now, had that been a linebacker or a lineman, he might have done something else with this thing.
Yeah.
But, oh, look at this.
He's bigger than him. Look at him. Don't even bother switching the ball. Just lower that shoulder and go for it.
First and goal, Wheatley is back in. Wheatley with the carry. The Raiders on this drive have eaten up the remainder of the 3rd quarter. We will go to the final period for the Oakland Raiders leading the Jets 21-0. Back after this.
At the end of the 3rd quarter, the score
Wheatley goes out as a flanker. Zach Crockett, the remaining running back, he'll get the ball. We get eaten up at the 3.
Zach Crockett, the ball carrier, tackled by Sean Ellis, leading the Jet tacklers.
Sean Ellis, number 92, did a nice job closing that one down.
Really, the Jets' defense has played fairly well. I mean, their offense has put them in some terrible situations tonight, except for a couple big plays. Their defense has done a pretty good job. And of course, Vinny Testaverde, he's not sitting there listening to a song. He's listening to the communications.
Jordan and Crockett are in on 3rd and goal. Gannon to the end zone. Tim Brown, touchdown.
He just ran away from Aaron Glenn.
Well, they start Andre Rison outside, bring him in motion, and let Tim Brown just take a step up and head for the flag. Here comes Rison in motion. One little quick step at the line of scrimmage to flees Glenn, and Tim Brown winds up catching.
And a perfect throw from Rich Gannon. Tim Brown with the 85th touchdown catch of his career. It's number 9 all time. And John Gruden can see the playoffs on the horizon. And for the Jets, that light at the end of the tunnel is an oncoming train with an LA Raider marking on it.
The point after is
Janikowski with the point after. Did I say LA Raiders? I'm having a flashback. Oakland on top, 28-0.
Beaker, we all want guys like that to have an opportunity to get into the playoffs and play their best football and give our team a chance to do what we want to do.
And that chance is only 14 minutes and 16 seconds away as Tim Brown makes the touchdown catch to put the Raiders up 28-0. Leon Johnson on the return. The winner of this game qualifies for the playoffs. The loser will have to wait until at least next week. Lucas in for the injured Testaverde. Gives to Curtis Martin, and the Raiders have made him a marked man all night long. Tim Brown hasn't been to the playoffs since '93, the last time the Raiders made it. And it's got to be tough for these veterans who have performed so well, but not with a lot of help around them, and to miss the playoffs year after year.
When after he scored a touchdown, they were getting ready to kick the extra point, and he was still hung up with the fans in the stands. They wouldn't let him go.
Tim Wisniewski, the 8-time Pro Bowler. Steve Wisniewski, check it. Lucas Anderson in Raider territory and out of bounds.
That time Richie Anderson gets matched up on Marquez Pope, number 49. It's a matchup they've had quite a bit tonight. They just haven't been able to get the ball down the field. This time he takes an inside release. Good throw by Ray Lucas, but I gotta try and figure out what's Dedrick Ward doing within a yard of him. You know, you've seen problems in the communications tonight between Richie Anderson and the inside slot receivers. That's not the first time.
The Jets need the comeback of comebacks tonight. Ward on the flanker screen to the 39.
Pass complete to Dedrick Ward, tackled by Alexander.
Richie Anderson's night got off to a very difficult start, Joe.
Well, the first one here, he winds up dropping. Opportunity in the first quarter. They're trying to go in to put some points on the board. He slips. William Thomas winds up with the interception. And now this one goes through his hands. And Eric Allen winds up with the first score. That was a big turnaround in this game. And Al Groh just trying to say, hey, look, I need you.
And now Al Groh needs Chad Pennington, the rookie quarterback, the 18th overall pick in the draft out of Marshall. Lucas limped off the field. Testaverde already out with a groin injury. Pennington with his first NFL action. Anderson tosses to Martin. The fullback option.
The lateral from Richie Anderson to Curtis Martin, tackled by William Thomas.
The last pass that Ray Lucas threw, little quick hitch outside. Winds up having somebody fall on him.
7 yards on the play. And
Roderick Coleman was the guy who came down on his ankle. So Pennington, the rookie for Marshall, who has not thrown a pass, finds himself in the game down 28. Pennington, too high for Corbett. Got one hand on it, and that's it.
You know, this has got to be, and I never played that position you did. This has got to be one of the toughest things for anybody to come in. Here's the third quarterback. And he comes into the game, and he hasn't thrown a ball really all since the beginning when they warmed up, what, 2.5 hours ago, and then they expect him to throw some passes.
Well, the first thing they do is they let him hand off so that Richie Anderson can run an option. Then he tries to throw the ball to Wayne Corbett, as Vinny Testaverde is just listening to what the communications are on the sideline.
Lucas able to come back in on 2nd and 10. Rifles this one, dropped by Beck. And it's going from bad to worse for the Jets.
You've got to be able to put a little touch on the ball, too. I mean, this time, Ray Lucas drops back and just fires this thing. Now, it still should have been caught, but you've got to have a little more touch on it. I'd always say, though, when the ball is put that perfectly to a receiver, they have to make the catch. And they've got to find Wayne Corbett. To me, that's been a big key on offense.
3rd and 10. Lucas on a little roll. To the sideline for Ward, knocked away by Woodson.
Complete broken efforts. Charles Woodson intended for Dietrich Moore. 4th down.
Charles Woodson, he loves to look in at the quarterback. Charles Woodson said to us, the last time we did the game, he said, I was born to play football, and this is what I love. Watch Woodson. Boom. He sees it. Now he's looking back at the quarterback. He sees the ball the entire way. That's perfect coverage.
I think he's the best covered corner. I think he's the best corner in football. I believe he's the best corner in football today. He's fast, he's strong, has good football awareness, tough as a tackler, does it all.
The Jets have no choice. 4th and 10, they'll go for it. Lucas behind Corbett.
Pass incomplete, intended for Wayne Corbett.
The Jets turn it over on downs. 11:43 to go. The Raiders will get it back. Been in the National Football League for 13 years. Until he came to Oakland, he was never the guy. And how much does that mean to a quarterback?
Well, we were talking to him yesterday. He said, when I was in high school, I was the guy. When I was in college in Delaware, I was the guy. He said, it took me 13 years to have a coach say, okay, this is your team, do with it.
And it's really only his 2nd year. I think that's the one thing we have to understand. It's just his 2nd year as a starter. Had to learn a new offense, although he was familiar with it from Kansas City in style. He still had to figure out what John Gruden wanted to do and had to become more comfortable with the people around him.
Wheatley. Of course, there would be some people in Kansas City who said he qualified as the guy there. He led them to a 13-3 record only to be replaced in the playoffs.
And it's because of the little things he does. The way he throws. This is to Andre Rison for a touchdown. Now he audibilizes and is trying to get it audibleized and winds up with Tyrone Wheatley with about a 30-yard gain. And then he tucks it away, picks up the 1st down on the last drive. And now sprinting out, getting the ball to Tim Brown. He brings so much diversity to the position as well as a great work ethic.
We approach the 11-minute mark. Wheatley. And the Jets have to be so disheartened right now. Richie Gannon, not great numbers, but then you don't always measure guys by numbers. When you talk to coaches about Richie Gannon, they talk about all the intangibles, the leadership, the intelligence, the things he is able to do, the plays he is able to make.
I think the best way to describe the quarterback position, I think Al Davis would agree with this, is how does he manage the game? That's not necessarily, as you mentioned, Michael, statistically valued. It's the management of the game. It's getting people in and out of the huddle. It's making audible so that the runs will work.
3rd and 5. Gannon trying to keep the drive going. Throw for Brown, but well overthrown. Good coverage by Aaron Glenn.
Aaron Glenn on the coverage for the Jets.
I tell you one thing, when you look at a guy like Aaron Glenn, he already has one interception tonight, but when you have the confidence in a corner, there's another great corner in the National Football League.
Yep, absolutely.
They've had him on Brown one-on-one all night long, and he's done a great job.
Deion Johnson deep for the Jets. Shane Leckler.
The rookie Shane Leckler on to kick, having a very good season. They'll punt to Leon Johnson. Gets off of Beauty. Johnson driven back to the 11. 5-yard return after a 51-yard punt. It's all Raiders from Oakland. The Jets have not won here since 1962, and somebody remembers Heidi. They are 0-9-1 in their last 10 road games against the Raiders. 1962, they won 28-17. It is unlikely they are going to win here tonight, down 28-0. Lucas buried. Roderick Coleman with the sack. His 5th of the year.
Well, I tell you, we said this back in the third quarter early, when all you have to do is just tee off and go. Roderick Coleman, there is no pass responsibility here. He's going to come from right up the middle of the field. Bam! There's no place for the quarterback to go.
And again, what you saw was a twist between Grady Jackson and Roderick Coleman. What I mean by a twist is one defensive lineman will start one way, and then the other one will come around him. That seems to be a problem for this Jet offensive line. They haven't been able to block it.
Curtis Martin will lose 2 more. Roderick Coleman again. Grady Jackson was also there.
The guys up front are taking advantage now, but look at the corners. Woodson and Allen. 11 total passes thrown to him, 2 completions. Allen has 1 touchdown returned for the interception, which he had, and of course Woodson with 2 breakups.
The Raiders have made up their mind that Curtis Martin is not going to be the guy who beats them tonight. 16 carries, 10 yards for Curtis Martin. 3rd and a mile.
Sticks. They got the sticks defense again.
Lucas screen. Richie Anderson runs into his own man, slips a tackle, still on his feet. Richie Anderson gets the first down out to the 33, a gain of 30 yards.
We saw the Indianapolis Colts run the same play against them, and they tried a screen pass that was knocked down. Now, when you look at the sticks,
there they are. There are the sticks again.
And a Jet first down at the 34.
Now, that's a good call against that defense. You have a chance to get blockers out in front.
Well, but they should be up there making tackles, too. That was not a straight stick. That was a bent stick.
It's nice, though, Joe.
Lucas batted down.
Pass incomplete.
Grady Jackson.
Let's go back to that sticks thing. Put 5 guys along that line, and it's where you need to get the first down. The only problem is you've got to make a tackle. Somebody has to make a tackle early when you commit themselves, and they didn't.
Well, when you keep everybody in front of you, that's the design of it. Chuck Bresnahan, the defensive coordinator's done a nice job mixing things up. He's blitzed Lucas. He's dropped back in the zone, not giving him the same thing to look at, sitting on a lead.
Lucas under pressure. They got him again. Josh Taves with his second big play. Elijah Alexander was also there. And Lucas is really upset.
Well, they about ripped his head off.
But you can't let them see that they're getting to you. William Thomas coming in just to deliver a thing. You can't lose your composure as a quarterback. All right, hey, you got the ball. They're going to try and rip you apart. They're going to try and put their fist through your face. But you can't let them see that they've gotten to you. Part of growing up in this business.
Well, when they rip your helmet off and smash you in the mouth, they've gotten to you.
Well, you go get it, spit your teeth out, and put it back on.
Lucas Complete out to the 47-yard line. Lavernius Coles, the rookie out of Florida State, with his first grab of the night. He's their speed guy.
Lavernius Coles, he's working on Eric Allen. We already found out Eric Allen, when you showed that graphic, he hadn't had a pass caught in front of him yet. Here it comes. Lavernius Coles, watch him go up. The concentration, just an excellent route and good catch.
The clock now a huge enemy for the Jets. Lucas intercepted Eric Allen. His third of the night. And a flag down at the end of the play.
Penalty flag in the field.
Eric Allen said he would not run interceptions back anymore after he injured his knee 2 years ago.
He lied.
Back-to-back games, he has run 2 back for touchdowns, but those were plays that were clear down the sideline. He saw tacklers coming here, and he got out of bounds.
Well, Randy Thomas, number 77, is the guy that's slow getting up.
This is an illegal block on the return.
And Grady Jackson, number 90, went over to look at him, and he may be the guy.
Well, Eric Allen won't get much easier an interception to pick off, I can tell you that.
After the pass was intercepted, personal foul, blocking below the waist, other defense, number 91, 15-yard penalty. Oakland keeps the ball after enforcement, first down.
Interception in 2 games for Allen. 7:06 to go in the game. The Raiders dominating 28-0, Paul.
When you have a game of this magnitude, really the defense takes over in a game like this. And the Raiders defense did take over. Eric Allen, you're going to see, he gets 2 interceptions. So does William Thomas. Here's his first one. This is for 50 yards and a touchdown. William Thomas, this is his first interception. Charles Woodson not taking anything, just throwing people on the ground. Here comes the second interception by William Thomas.
Back to live action in Wheatley for the Raiders into Jets territory. Chased out by Victor Green.
And there was one more interception. That was just the last one Eric Allen had. So they both have 2, William Thomas and Eric Allen. But you know, you're talking about 1962 and the last time the Jets won here. There were some other significant things in 62. Al Davis was an assistant coach with the San Diego Chargers. Kennedy was president. And John Gruden, the head football coach of the Oakland Raiders, was not even born yet.
And Al Groh tonight wishes he was.
Yeah.
Whoa. John Gruden at 37, still the youngest coach in the NFL at age 31. He was the Eagles offensive coordinator. Wheatley again. Stay tuned for SportsCenter. Linda Cohn and Dan Patrick. Jordan. Paul, I know what it is. He doesn't want the pay cut.
I just enjoy the company here so much.
Well, when you see now all night long, the Raiders have not really been able to run the ball that consistently, but here it is at the end of the game. This Jet defense is exhausted.
Well,
These guys have been out a long time.
9 yards for the Jets, 162 for the Raiders. And John Gruden told me, he said, you know, they are not an easy defense to run against. And they really haven't been until they got into the 4th quarter.
I'll tell you one other thing. The Raiders defense came to play tonight. They have been sensational. Jordan again. Inside the 30. And now the Jets staring at their first shutout since 1995. Grady Jackson has had a heck of a night. In fact, he's had a fine season moving into the starting lineup at left defensive tackle.
Gain of 4 yards on the play. 2nd and 6 at the 29.
All those guys up front for the Raiders. Reagan Upshaw, 5 sacks. Grady Jackson, 6 coming into tonight. Darrell Russell, 2.5. Lance Johnstone, 3. Tony Bryant, 4.5. And Curtis Martin, all the struggles that he's had tonight.
As great as he is, he can't do it on his own. Jordan to the 26.
Randy Jordan with the carry.
I'll tell you one thing. When you look at a game and you see it like this, you look what the Raiders did on defense, they wore them down. They just wore them down.
Gain of 3 yards in the play. 3rd and 3 at the Jet 26.
The Raiders will go on the road and play at Seattle next week. This win will put them in the playoffs. And then they can think about other things. They'll come home to play Carolina, so they do not have a wicked schedule waiting for them. Jordan. Nice cut. And he's got the first down.
That was really a nice run. Jordan had no place to go on the outside. He just cuts it back in and picks up the first down.
Well, you want to get the 3-4, you want to get the linebackers flowing. That's exactly what he does. Now they can't stop. He cuts back into the voided area. And, you know, he barely gets on the ground and then throws the ball out. Wasn't sure he really got knocked down by a Jet.
Wheatley back in on first down. This is just in-your-face football right now. And it'll be a long flight home for the Jets after taking a beating like this.
I remember Curtis Martin sitting down with us yesterday. And he said, one of the things I think about coming out here is it never crosses my mind that I'll get on that plane after we have lost. It just isn't a part of my makeup. Well, unfortunately, he's going to have to deal with it.
He's one of the most optimistic people you will ever meet.
Kevin Mawai. And the offensive linemen did what they could.
2nd and 7. Wheatley gets it to the 15-yard line. That will take us to the 2-minute warning, and it means John Gruden and the Raiders are 2 minutes away from qualifying for the playoffs for the first time since 1993. He may not run Al Davis's preferred offense, but he's got to love it right now. It's the Raiders defense that's stolen the show tonight. Gannon. Incomplete, threw it away. Excellent coverage downfield by the Jets defense. And Richie unhappy with one of the routes.
You saw Ray Lucas run a similar type of play before. Scramble out to the right, try and throw it back across his body in the middle of the field. Rich Gannon on that play, as he buys time, Andre Rison works down and inside. Now what he's trying to do is, hey, he's trying to say, come on, get up. Get up and work outside. Just took a little too long.
Janikowski comes on to try a field goal. Pretty good hold as well. Janikowski knocks it through. His 20th field goal of the season. And the Raiders extend their lead even further. Leon Johnson from the 4 to the 31. ESPN Sunday Night Football. Early Christmas gift for the Raider fans. They are in the playoffs for the first time since 1993.
And the Jets really squandered an opportunity tonight with Miami losing earlier today.
Curtis Martin. Before that run, which gained 1, the Raiders had allowed only 9 rushing yards tonight. That would be an all-time franchise best. And they're going to say Curtis Martin gained none, so it's still at 9. Testaverde was hurt earlier with a groin injury. Lucas came in. Pennington comes in for the second time, and he is sacked. Roderick Coleman gets his second.
For the 9th time this year, the Raider defense has knocked a quarterback out of a game. And they almost wound up with 2, Paulo.
They almost got a double dipper.
Got a double dipper tonight when Lucas.
Pennington out in the flat. There's a marker down on the play. Curtis Martin gets it out to the 36. John Gruden has already gotten the bath. He doesn't mind one bit.
And maybe he'll get a chance to get home early to Cindy and the kids tonight, his wife. I mean, you know, he spent so much time at the Raider complex. They have a nice little bedroom for him, and he sits in that office, and the only thing you see is the glow of his computer in his face. It's a little eerie when you go in early in the morning with him.
You say he doesn't have a secretary?
No, he does a lot of it himself.
One of the real bright guys in this business.
Defines himself as a computer geek. Really, there it is. There comes the bath. You know,
these players really are dedicated to John Gruden. They really believe in what he has tried to do. And this is a payoff.
Illegal substitution. Defense, 12 men on the field. 5-yard penalty. Foul was on number 81. Third down.
You know what that was for? When they doused Gruden and the play was running, 81 is Brown. So he's an offensive guy. That means he had to be on the field when they did it and they threw a flag.
Here's the updated playoff picture. Tennessee, Oakland, and Miami, the division leaders. Baltimore, Denver, and the Jets right now would still qualify for the playoffs. Tennessee has the tiebreaker on Oakland for home field advantage. Soule on the screen. Soule running hard, breaking tackles. Soule to the 20. They haven't been shut out in 5 years. They'll get it down to the 5-yard line.
He saw in the first half. He sure doesn't like anything he saw in the second half.
Not a bit. Pennington with a fade for Corbett, incomplete.
Pass incomplete, intended for
excellent defense by Torrey James.
Second down.
These two corners have done a terrific job. And even with Torrey James going in and playing the corner against Quebec, this is such a tough throw to make when your receiver is only 5'9", 5'10". You need the taller guys down here to try and throw the fade. Best thing to do is let the outside receiver try and run a little fake fade and come on in with a quick post or work a crossing pattern.
Pennington incomplete for Coles. Covered by Darian Gordon. It'll be 3rd and goal.
What the Raiders have now, they have all their backup people in the game, getting them a little bit of experience, getting down towards the playoffs.
Boy, you know that defense wants that shutout, though.
He's smiling. No, he isn't. Yes, he is.
Yeah, there he is. He heard you.
No, he isn't.
He almost did.
No?
I think we almost saw one.
Sports Center coming up when we're done here. 35 seconds left to go in the game. Wendell Hayes, number 86, comes in. They go 4 wide receivers. Beck, the tight end. He's in motion. Pennington, quarterback draw, and they got it. Lance Johnstone with a heads-up play.
And the Jets take another timeout.
You know, we talked about John Gruden controlling this football team and having the control. You got to give Al Davis a lot of credit, too. He finally has allowed his players to allow the coach to be in charge. Everybody always said, was it really Gruden or was it really the coaches before saying something to us? Or was, let's wait to see what Al does. Now there is truly the man behind the guy that's letting him coach, and I think that's a credit to Al.
And the proof of it is this is an offense that he does not like. He has always been a vertical kind of guy. He wants to go down the field. This is more of a West Coast style offense, but it's working.
He likes it now.
He likes it because it's winning.
Right.
That's right.
That's the bottom line with it.
Well, that's always been his mantra. Just win, baby. And if you got to do it with the West Coast, why not?
Gruden said, hey, I need my big play guys to make plays. Richie Gannon, Tim Brown, Charles Woodson. Woodson did a great job of shutting down the wide receivers, and Brown and Gannon made a lot of big plays.
4th and goal for Corbett. Touchdown.
Pass complete to Wayne.
With 24 seconds to go in the game, they avoid the shutout. And Chad Pennington has the first touchdown pass of his NFL career.
Well, and he beats Darian Gordon, who is the backup to Charles Woodson. And look at this route by Corbett. Out to the outside, the perfect pass. Corbett, nice catch, great concentration. There goes the shutout.
Well, that's the kind. I think that's the way he was going to get in the end zone. Trying to run him up on a fade wouldn't have gotten it done.
And all that will amount to is a little salve for the wounds. John Hall on for the point after. The Jets will have to wait another week and hopefully get a win and qualify for the playoffs. But right now, they are not in. The Raiders are for the first time since 1993. Congratulations to John Gruden, his coaching staff, and his players. That's a huge accomplishment for them. Can update you as well on the NFC playoff picture. Minnesota and the disparity of talent that anybody who gets in the playoffs, especially those teams with home field advantage, are going to have a shot at making the Super Bowl.
Every single team you talk to that has a chance there, I mean, who are you going to say is the sure winner going to the Super Bowl? Nobody really knows. Minnesota's clicking along. The Rams kind of lose some steam. They come back. They knock off Minnesota. And look at the AFC. I mean, this thing is wide open.
The big question you have to ask, will Vinny Testaverde be in condition to be able to quarterback his team next week? I think that's very critical for the Jets.
Left the game just at the beginning of the second half with a groin injury.
And, you know, the home field hasn't been this year what it's been for a lot of teams. A lot of teams have played equally as well on the road, so that even muddles the picture more.
The Raiders will kill the clock. And the celebration begins. John Gruden has qualified his club for the playoffs. Al Groh will have to wait one more week at least. And for the veterans on this ball club, as well as the young guys like Charles Woodson, it's a time to celebrate. Our final score, the Raiders 31, the Jets